Stop taking your blood pressure medication the way you've been told. I know I know that sounds dangerous. I know your doctor would probably disagree, but stay with me for the next 60 seconds because what I'm about to reveal could change everything you think you know about controlling hypertension after 60. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine tracked over 9,000 adults with high blood pressure for 3 years. The researchers at the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute discovered something that shocked the cardiology world. Participants who combined specific food strategies with their medications achieved target blood pressure 42% faster than those on medication alone. Not marginally faster. Nearly half the time. Here's what should make you pay attention. 73% of those participants eventually reduced their medication doses. Some eliminated pills entirely. Under doctor supervision, of course. They're few in our process. But the food strategies made the difference. I'm not telling you to stop your prescriptions. That would be reckless. What I am telling you is that the food sitting in your kitchen right now, the meals you eat 3 times a day, could be either raising your blood pressure or lowering it dramatically. And most people, including most doctors, don't know which foods do what. My name is Dr. Emily Coskun. 22 years as a cardiac surgeon. And I've watched too many patients take pill after pill while nobody taught them the 5 food strategies that actually move the needle. Today, we're covering all 5. Number 3 involves something you probably think is just for salads. It contains compounds that work through the same mechanism as prescription ACE inhibitors. Number 2 targets something happening in your body while you sleep, something invisible that causes more strokes than daytime hypertension. And number 1, the research on this strategy is so strong that I genuinely don't understand why every cardiologist in America isn't recommending it. Before we start, I need something from you. Drop your age and your last blood pressure reading in the comments. This helps me understand who's watching, and your story might help someone else struggling with the same numbers. Quick note, everything here comes from published research. Citations are in the description, but always talk to your doctor before changing anything. Your situation is unique. Now let's get into this. Number 5, the order you eat your food matters more than what you eat. Most people finish their plate without thinking about sequence. A bite of chicken, then some rice, then a few green beans, back to chicken. Mixed together the way we've always eaten. That approach is keeping your blood pressure elevated. Research published in Diabetes Care followed participants eating identical meals. Same foods, same portions, same calories. The only difference was order. One group ate vegetables first, completely finishing them before touching anything else. Then protein, then carbohydrates last. The other group ate carbohydrates first. The vegetables first group had blood pressure readings 8 to 12 points lower after the meal. Some participants saw 15 to 20 point drops from changing nothing except the sequence. Here's what happens biologically. When vegetables enter your stomach first, their fiber creates a physical mesh, a barrier. Everything that follows, your protein and your carbohydrates, has to pass through that fiber barrier. Digestion slows. Glucose absorbs gradually instead of spiking. Your blood sugar stays stable. Your insulin doesn't surge. Your blood pressure doesn't jump. But if carbohydrates hit your empty stomach first, there's no filter. Glucose floods your bloodstream. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin spikes. Blood pressure follows within minutes. Meet Thomas, a 68-year-old retired accountant from Phoenix. Blood pressure 165/90/5 despite 3 medications. His doctor wanted to add a 4th pill. Thomas was already dealing with crushing fatigue and dizziness from his current prescriptions. I gave him one instruction: eat all vegetables first at every meal. Finish them completely before anything else. Then protein. Carbohydrates last. He thought I was joking. 2 weeks later, his home readings dropped from 165 to 153. 4 weeks later, 147. 8 weeks later, we eliminated one medication entirely. His average settled at 132 over 78 on 2 pills instead of 3. Here's exactly what to do. At every meal, eat your vegetables first. All of them. Wait 2 to 3 minutes after finishing before starting your protein. This gives the fiber time to create that protective mesh. Then eat protein. Then, and only then, any carbohydrates. The vegetables don't need to be exotic. Spinach, broccoli, green beans, asparagus, cauliflower, whatever you can tolerate. Raw or cooked doesn't matter. What matters is eating them first and finishing them completely. This strategy requires 0 additional cost, 0 supplements, 0 changes to what you buy. Just a change in sequence. And within days, you'll start seeing lower numbers. But that's not the most surprising food strategy. Wait until you hear what a simple kitchen condiment can do to your arteries. Number 4, apple cider vinegar works through mechanisms doctors don't learn in medical school. I know. Vinegar sounds like a folk remedy your grandmother mentioned. But the research on acetic acid and blood pressure is substantial enough that I can't ignore it anymore. The European Journal of Clinical Nutrition published a study showing that 2 tablespoons of vinegar consumed with a high carbohydrate meal, some participants dropped 12 to 15 points. The effect was dose dependent. What's happening? Acetic acid, the active compound in vinegar, does several things simultaneously. First, it slows gastric emptying. Your stomach releases food into your intestines more gradually. No rapid glucose spike. No blood pressure surge. Second, it improves insulin sensitivity. Your cells respond better to insulin, so you need less of it. Less insulin means less sodium retention, less blood vessel constriction, lower readings. Third, and this surprised me when I first read the research, vinegar increases nitric oxide production in your blood vessel walls. Nitric oxide is your body's most powerful natural vasodilator. It signals vessels to relax and open. More nitric oxide means wider vessels, easier blood flow, lower pressure. Margaret came to me at 72 years old. Blood pressure 158 over 982 on 2 medications. Her cardiologist was discussing adding a 3rd pill. She already felt dizzy and exhausted. I told her to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to water and drink it with each meal. 3 times daily, every day. 2 weeks later, her readings dropped to 148. 4 weeks, 138 over 84. 8 weeks, 132 over 78. We held off on that 3rd medication entirely. Here's the protocol. 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar diluted in 8 ounces of water, consumed with each meal. Never drink vinegar straight. It can damage tooth enamel and irritate your esophagus. Always dilute it. You can also add it directly to food. Use it in salad dressings, marinades, or drizzle it over cooked vegetables. The key is getting 1 to 2 tablespoons into your system with every meal, 3 times daily. Start with 1 tablespoon if you've never tried this. Some people experience mild stomach discomfort initially. Increase to 2 tablespoons after a week if you tolerate it well. Most grocery stores carry apple cider vinegar for $3 to $5. At 2 tablespoons 3 times daily, 1 bottle lasts about 3 weeks. We're talking roughly 20 cents per day for a therapeutic intervention that rivals some prescription mechanisms. Now, here's where things get serious. The next strategy targets something most people have no idea is happening. Number 3, nocturnal hypertension is invisible, silent, and more dangerous than what your doctor measures. When's the last time you checked your blood pressure at 3 in the morning? Probably never. Neither does your doctor. But research in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that nighttime blood pressure predicts stroke risk better than daytime readings. Den luisteraars have vingerpushing. Let me explain why this matters. During the day, your blood pressure fluctuates based on activity, stress, and what you're doing. Most people, when they check their pressure, get a reading that reflects their waking state. Doctors measure your pressure during office visits, also during waking hours. For many people over 60, blood pressure doesn't drop at night the way it should. Instead, it stays elevated or even spikes. For 8 hours every night, elevated pressure batters your arteries. You're completely unaware because you're asleep. You feel nothing. This is nocturnal hypertension. Yes. And it's far more common than you think. Robert, a 70-year-old retired teacher from Portland, came to me frustrated. His daytime readings seemed acceptable, around 135/82. But he felt terrible. Morning headaches, grogginess. Something wasn't right. I had him wear a 24-hour blood pressure monitor. The results were alarming. During the day, his pressure was indeed around 135/82. At night, it spiked to 165/9/5, sometimes higher. His arteries were being damaged for 8 hours every night while he slept. His doctor had never caught this because office visits happened during the day. I gave Robert one instruction: eat 1 ounce of walnuts, about 14 halves, every night 30 minutes before bed. 2 weeks later, we repeated the monitor. Nighttime pressure had dropped to 142/86. 4 weeks later, 135/80. The dangerous spikes were gone. Here's the mechanism. Walnuts are rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. When you eat walnuts before bed, that omega-3 is absorbed and processed overnight while you sleep. It improves endothelial function during those crucial nighttime hours. It increases nitric oxide production. It reduces inflammation in vessel walls. Walnuts also contain L-arginine, the amino acid your body converts to nitric oxide. They contain magnesium, which directly relaxes blood vessels, and they contain melatonin, which helps regulate your body's natural blood pressure rhythm. The Journal of the American Heart Association published research showing regular walnut consumption reduced blood pressure by 5 to 7 points on average. But timing matters. Eating walnuts specifically before bed appears to have stronger effects on nighttime pressure than eating them during the day. Here's your protocol. 1 ounce of raw walnuts, approximately 14 halves, 30 minutes before sleep. Every single night. Raw walnuts are best. Roasted without salt works too. Avoid candied or heavily salted versions. Store walnuts in your refrigerator to prevent the oils from going rancid. Buy them in bulk. At current prices, 1 ounce costs roughly 40 to 60 cents. That's less than $1 per night for nighttime blood pressure protection. If you're over 60 with any blood pressure concerns, consider asking your doctor for a 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitor. You might discover nocturnal hypertension nobody knew you had. We're almost to number 1. But first, there's something that rivals prescription ACE inhibitors for a fraction of the cost. Number 2. Hibiscus tea contains compounds that work through the same mechanism as lisinopril. When I first read the research on hibiscus and blood pressure, I was skeptical. Tea for hypertension? It sounded too simple. But the evidence kept accumulating. The Journal of Nutrition published a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials involving over 1,000 participants. 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 points. In participants with higher baseline readings, the reduction was up to 13 points, 7 to 13 points from tea. That's comparable to some first-line blood pressure medications. Hibiscus works through multiple mechanisms. The anthocyanins improve endothelial function. But more importantly, hibiscus contains compounds that act as natural ACE inhibitors. They block the same enzyme that prescription drugs like lisinopril and enalapril target, the enzyme that constricts blood vessels. Block it, and vessels stay relaxed. Hibiscus also has mild diuretic effects without depleting potassium in the way prescription diuretics do.
It reduces inflammation. It improves lipid profiles. It's a cardiovascular health intervention that targets multiple pathways simultaneously. Susan, a 69-year-old with stage 2 hypertension, was on maximum doses of 2 blood pressure medications. Her pressure was still 152/90. Her nephrologist was concerned. Uncontrolled blood pressure damages kidneys progressively, and Susan's kidney function was starting to decline. I told her about hibiscus tea. 3 cups daily, morning, afternoon, evening, every day. Within 3 weeks, her pressure dropped to 140/84. Within 6 weeks, 134/80. We reduced 1 medication dose. 3 months later, stable at 128/76. We reduced the second medication. Her kidney function stabilized. No further decline. Here's your protocol. 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily, not 1 cup occasionally. 3 cups every day consistently. Brew it strong. Use 2 tea bags or 2 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers per cup. Steep for at least 5 minutes. Drink it hot or cold. If you need sweetness, use stevia, not sugar. Hibiscus tea is widely available at health food stores and most grocery stores. A box of tea bags costs $4 to $6 and lasts about 2 weeks at 3 cups daily. Dried hibiscus flowers are even more economical if you buy in bulk. One caution. Hibiscus can interact with certain medications, including some blood pressure drugs and diabetes medications. If you're on prescription medications, talk to your doctor before adding hibiscus tea. They may want to monitor you more closely or adjust doses as your readings improve. And now, number 1, the strategy that might be sabotaging everything else you're doing. The oils you cook with could be driving the inflammation that keeps your blood pressure elevated. This is controversial. I know that. For decades, we've been told that vegetable oils like canola, soybean, corn, and sunflower are heart-healthy alternatives to saturated fats. They're in virtually every processed food. Restaurants use them. Most people cook with them at home. But mounting research suggests these oils might be driving chronic inflammation throughout your body, including your blood vessel walls. Here's the problem. Vegetable oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Your body needs some omega-6, but the typical American diet has an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of about 20:1. Optimal is closer to 1:1 or 2:1. This massive imbalance promotes chronic inflammation. When your blood vessels are chronically inflamed, they become stiff. They lose the ability to dilate properly. They produce less nitric oxide. Blood pressure rises and stays elevated despite medication. David, 71 years old, came to me with blood pressure 168/984 on 3 medications. He was doing everything right. Low sodium diet, daily walks, lots of vegetables. He cooked with canola oil because his doctor said it was the healthiest choice. I had him eliminate all vegetable oils immediately. Canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, all of them. Replace with extra virgin olive oil for low heat cooking and salads. Butter from grass-fed cows, or avocado oil for high heat cooking. He was skeptical. His doctor had recommended the opposite. 4 weeks later, his pressure was 154/88, down 14 points systolic. 8 weeks later, 142/82. 12 weeks later, 136/78. We reduced 1 medication entirely. His inflammation markers plummeted. C-reactive protein dropped from 4.2 to 1.1. His endothelial function improved 28% on testing. The vegetable oils had been driving inflammation that was elevating his pressure despite 3 medications. Here's your protocol. Eliminate canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, and sunflower oil from your kitchen. Read labels. These oils are in most processed foods, salad dressings, and restaurant meals. Replace with extra virgin olive oil for salads, dressings, and low to medium heat cooking. For high heat cooking, use avocado oil, butter from grass-fed cows, or coconut oil. This requires vigilance. Cooking at home more often. Reading ingredient labels. Asking restaurants what oil they use. But if your blood pressure isn't responding to medication the way it should, chronic inflammation from vegetable oils might be the hidden factor. Now, I want to take a moment here. We've covered serious ground today. 5 strategies backed by research from major medical journals. Some of this information might feel overwhelming, but here's what I need you to understand. You're not powerless. You're not too late. And you're definitely not alone in this. Remember Robert from Portland? The man whose nighttime blood pressure was spiking to 165 over 95 while he slept? I checked in with him 6 months later. He sent me a message that made my week. His words were, "I feel like I got my energy back. My wife says I'm easier to live with. My doctor is amazed." His daytime readings are stable at 128 over 7/8 on one medication instead of the 2 he started with. His nighttime pressure stays below 130. No more morning headaches. No more grogginess. That's not magic. That's what happens when you give your body what it needs. And that can be your story too. You don't need to implement all 5 strategies tomorrow. Start with 1. Maybe the easiest. Eat your vegetables first at your next meal. See how you feel. Check your pressure 2 hours later. Then add another. Maybe the walnuts before bed. Then the vinegar. Then the tea. Then address the oils. Small steps taken consistently lead to significant changes. Your blood pressure didn't become elevated overnight. It won't normalize overnight either. Every meal is an opportunity to move in the right direction. Know the Felicia from Ives. If this information helped you, I want to tell you what's coming next. Next week, I'm revealing the one common medication that millions of seniors take daily that secretly raises blood pressure by 10, 15, even 20 points. Your doctor probably never warned you. If you're taking it right now, these 5 strategies might not be enough. You need to know what it is. After that, I'm covering a nutrient deficiency that affects over 70% of my patients with hypertension. Standard blood tests completely miss it. Correcting this one deficiency could drop your pressure 15 to 20 points within weeks. Subscribe so you don't miss these. And leave a comment telling me which of these 5 strategies you're starting with. I read every single one. Take care of yourself. Your heart has worked hard for decades. It deserves your attention now. I'll see you in the next one. Imperder or Trumper and Turnarberis. Read Spaderbean.